Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Cradle News Roundup, your one-stop shop for all news West Asia coming to you live. As you know me, my name is Esteban Carrillo. I am the news editor for the Cradle, and I'm joined by my friends and colleagues, content creator and writer for the Cradle, Karim Shami, and columnist and editor for the Cradle, Sharmin Narwani, who, by the way, was just on Danny Haifon's show on his channel. So after this podcast is over, go make sure to check that out. Please also just make sure to hit that like button as soon as you arrive. We have gotten a very significant jump in subscribers over the past couple of days, and that's thank you, for your support, for your interest. Just help us get this video out to more people. So please just hit that like button, subscribe, and of course, as usual, please check out our Patreon. You can find the link in the description below. You can, for as little as $5 a month, become a supporter of the Cradle. Please help support independent journalism. And also, we have a new episode of Rock the Cradle, Charmin's interview show with political analyst Chen Wen-Hua, who asks the question, imagine Charmin asked the question, will China join the war? So please, after this podcast, make sure to go check out that interview. Very important topics, very important voices that we are giving a platform for here in the Cradle. Yesterday we had Mohammed Marandi. So just go and just hit a like on all of our videos. Thank you to everyone who is here. And I think we can just get started with the topics, everyone. And as the title of this stream says, Saudi Arabia has lied to Iran again. And this is some information that we got earlier today based on reports in Hebrew media that says that a U.S. stealth pilot who left Israel's Obda air base, he forgot to turn off his transmitter on the way to bomb Iran and was detected over Saudi airspace. I think, Karim, you're looking for the post so we can put it on screen, I imagine. So this comes, of course, as after Iran's ambassador to Saudi Arabia, there it is, that's the one, thanked Riyadh for pledging not to allow its territory or airspace to be used in attacks against the Islamic Republic. I mean, I don't know. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this latest development.
I just have a quick observation. I mean, Mohammed Marandi, when I interviewed him yesterday, kept saying all these Gulf countries are complicit. They've been complicit every step of the way. Do not forget their complicity. Even though, as we've noted on the Cradle's live podcast, that sentiment has obviously been shifting among Saudi populations, even Saudi influencers and Saudi commentators, editors, journalists. Still seeing this today, a day after the Iranians thanked the Saudis for prohibiting U.S. military overflights and certainly launches from Saudi territory, is quite a shock. But it seems Marandi was more right than we, acknowledged.
I mean, they have been complicit for so long. It's this idea that, for example, the Spanish Prime Minister a couple of days ago, he called Iran's response disproportionate, or a word similar to that. When Iran, what it has done is target the bases, the outposts, the residences of those who have, for how many years now, been conducting this war against Iran. But at the same time, I don't know, like somebody in the chat said, like Mossad probably just made it up. And, you can never give up that possibility either, because we know that they are trying to inflame tensions with Gulf countries. But yeah, I don't know. I think the fog of war is also pretty thick at this point, but it's not surprising at all.
But the Saudis have like real potential losses from doing something like this,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to basically lie to the Iranians during a kinetic conflict where, their territory has obviously been subject to some pummeling from the Iranians, of course, U.S. military targets mostly. It's a very dangerous game the Saudis are playing if this report is right. And this was, of course, the picture the Cradle tweeted was of a flight radar 24, which is Karim, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a very known it's a known place.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Like
the way to go place
yeah,
for
so
this stuff.
it sounds like it's not an Israeli lie because the first people reporting it were the Israelis. Um, of course, the Israelis would love, especially to publicize this and amplify this information so that the Iranians get mad at the Saudis, etc. You know, there's a little side game being played there, but this is crazy news. Like how the Saudis are in it deep right now, if this is in fact true.
I think it also, because Karim has been the one that has non-stop been the one with the message of do not trust the Saudis. The Saudis will, of course, always respond to the US. And this would seem to be, well, at least partial confirmation to your ongoing
The-
theory.
Yeah. No, it's not a theory. There's fact, and there's their role in the region of protecting the United States and Israel and the media. Yeah, for instance, you might see countries with the United States, and maybe they go with the United States to war, but the media campaigns that these countries did against anybody who's against the United States and against Israel tells us that they will go further. That's one. Second, I want also to mention something that even if the Saudis don't want to be part of this, they don't have a saying in this because the amount of control, of military control that the United States possesses inside Saudi Arabia is so huge that even if the Saudis don't want them to use their airspace, what Saudi Arabia will do? If an airplane an American or Israeli airplane enters their airspace, will they shoot it down? Do they even are the ones who are operating the THAAD? No, they are not the ones. So what's happening, I think now in Saudi Arabia, I'm not like giving excuses for Saudi Arabia, but really in the recent days we saw prominent people talking against Israel and the United States, and this will not happen for only to like for the Iran internal affairs. No, these people paid billions and billions of dollars, and they prepared offered generations to inject hatred in the region and to tell us that Americans are our friends. And now they can do it suddenly just for the internal affairs of Iran. But as I said, if they don't want the Saudis or the Israelis to use their airspace, I don't think they have the power or the influence to stop them.
It's the same
that's what
way.
I have.
It's the same way with the Iraqi airspace. The Iraqis
100%.
told the Americans to get out in
Since 6 years.
2020?
6 years.
2020, Iraqi parliament passed
And also,
a bill or whatever saying that the Americans, all foreign forces have to leave. They're not only there, they're
sorry,
using-
Sharmeen, but also there's a piece of information because the Americans told them, yes, we will leave. This is also the thing.
They're supposed to leave by September this year. That was the deadline.
It was also
sure.
previously, but they extended it. And also, I want to say something. There's proof 100% from the Iraqis yesterday. The United States or the Israelis launched long-range missiles from airplanes from above Baghdad. There's footage and confirmation about that. So that's the extent of the hands of the Israelis and the Americans over Baghdad. And the Israeli army, I will check if I will find it now. I didn't think we will gonna talk about it, but there's a video. The Israeli army published a video showing the path that they did to attack Iran, and it was from the north to Syria and then above Iraq.
You made me also think, because you're absolutely right. What are the Saudis going to do if the Americans violate what they've demanded of them? They can't do very much, right? So there is also the question of whether the Americans, are shutting off their transponders and going through Saudi airspace, and the Saudis are basically hands tied, unable to do anything about this.
Yeah, exactly. Because the things that we watch, and for instance, Turki Faisal, which is a very prominent person in Saudi Arabia and in the US, and he's been years and years the Saudi ambassador to Saudi Arabia in Washington. Yes, 2 days ago he gave an interview on CNN Arabic, and it was very, very clear. This guy, 10 years ago, there's a video of him waving at Israelis, and he's telling them, yani, we are next, or we will be friends. And yesterday, when he, 2 days ago, when he was asked about normalization, CNN asked him if you think that what's happening in the region, and if Israel is the winner, will there be normalization? He said the word normalization is not even in the table now. Forgot about it. So I don't think all the build up that they did for the generations to come to make normalization or to normalize that Americans are the good guys in the region and they bring only prosperity. I don't think they will damage this image just for the internal affairs of Iran, although we are in war.
Well, then let's give credit where credit's due. Normalization and Takafit was killed on October 7th, 2023 by Hamas.
Yes.
Yes, because remember, that was the big thing just before. The Al-Aqsa flood was imminent Saudi normalization. I want to ask you guys a question, actually. Do you think Israel wants normalization anymore? And just a little thing, I need to get up for 2 minutes, but I want to leave you with that question, please.
Yeah, of course.
Tell them what you're doing when you get up, Esteban. Tell them.
Don't embarrass him. So
no, what do you mean? He got up and left. I think we should drag him. Esteban's cooking.
So the point is that answering his question, I think, yes, of course, it depends with whom. With the Gulf states, 100%, the Israelis, they want full normalization and prosperity. And of course, they say it every day and every now and then that they complete each other and they can make all of these routes and whatever. But regarding, for instance, countries like Syria or Lebanon, countries where they want to expand, I don't think the Israelis will or want to make a deal. And for instance, if their mentality is to expand into Lebanon and into Syria, into Iraq or other places, for instance, why they should normalize? That's my take regarding Esteban's answer. I don't know your thoughts, Sharmeen.
I'm just wondering if normalization is dead. What about Israel's plans via these Arab countries it's normalized with to dominate regional, financial, economic, supply line, the whole lot, to dominate the region's economy? I don't think anyone can go back from this, even if the Arab countries feel more direct enmity towards Iran, certainly after Iran has pummeled their territories, or at least U.S. military assets on their territories. I don't think there's any going back to this. I really think in the last week that the entire region has been changed irrevocably, dramatically. Can't go back to how it was before. Everyone's seeing the unseen. They're speaking about the unsayable, that U.S. military, the multi-trillion-dollar worth of U.S. military investment in this region is up in flames. Who's going to build it again? Who's going to spend money on it again? And why the hell would they, when obviously the U.S. cannot even defend its own bases?
Exactly. I am multitasking, guys. I see many people commented in the chat. Yes, I have a couple of things.
Tell them what you were making. Go on.
We are. It's shish barak for lunch. For those who know, who are aware what shish barak is, please drop a like if you know what it is. It's
an Ecuadorian making shish barak.
Yes.
Despite the war and the bad things that I'm hearing, this is so funny.
It's incredible. In any case, guys. There's another big topic over the past 24 hours, and it's been the warnings by, in particular, Qatar's energy minister, who has said, he really sounded the alarm in this case, right? He said, this is his quote, "Everybody that has not called for force majeure, we expect will do so in the next few days, that this continues," in reference to the war. "All exporters in the Gulf region will have to call force majeure. If this war continues for a few weeks, GDP growth around the world will be impacted." And essentially he says, he forecasts a collapse of the global economy if this goes on for longer than a few weeks because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Because, as we discussed yesterday, Qatar Energy already declared force majeure for its contracts. Now there's another report by, this is an interview with Financial Times. There's another report by Financial Times saying that at least, I think they said 3 of the Gulf monarchies have already discussed cutting their foreign investments significantly to, cushion, I guess, the impact of what's happening. Economically, the crude prices are already, I think the oil barrel is already at like $93. The plan of Donald Trump to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz essentially there's no plan. It's just an announcement. Like oil majors and shipping companies have all been wondering how exactly is this going to work out and how much can we trust the U.S. Navy to protect us. There's no clarity to his plan to subsidize insurance costs. I mean, this man is literally throwing things at a wall, seeing what will stick. In the meantime, his Gulf allies are essentially saying, hey, we're going to have to cut foreign investments, of which, a year ago when Trump was in the Gulf, they offered him trillions of dollars in investments. Saudi Arabia is expected to host the World Cup in a few years. Qatar has made so much investments in the West on top of the lobbying that they have spent. I mean, this is yet another sign of what you just said, Charmaine, that things can go back to normal.
I just want to, for our new subscribers who maybe don't know what force majeure is, it's an out in any legal contract, which means if there's something outside the realm of what the buyer or seller can control, like war, earthquakes, etc., natural disasters, then the contract becomes null and void and nobody can claim compensation for it, which essentially means most of the world's oil and gas contracts with countries of the Persian Gulf would become null and void, and all these countries would have to scramble with no recourse against the Gulf countries. It's not their fault to scramble to find other energy suppliers. And guess which big fat energy supplier is sitting there? Okay, is just sitting there going, we're open for business. If you want to come, it's Russia.
And you saw Scott Bessent's tweet yesterday. They announced that they are gonna reduce the sanctions and allow India to restart oil purchases for Russia. I mean, this was the topic that just like a few months ago that India and the US were butting heads.
But what the Americans going to do if Europe just starts doing that without getting a pass from Scott Bessent, for God's sakes? What if Europe just goes, okay, that's it? We give uncle, and then goes ahead and starts trading with Russia again. This closing of the Strait of Hormuz on day one. Was it day one? Was it Saturday or Sunday? I keep forgetting.
I think it was confirmed on Monday morning that it had completely shut off. And just FYI, since Monday, only 9 ships have transited the Strait of Hormuz.
And probably these are ships with the permission of the Iranians?
Probably. I don't have that information right now. I can look it up.
Okay, yeah, let's find out about that. Who stuck through without them knowing, if anyone. Yeah, this is a really, really big deal. If everyone is calling, as you said, Esteban, is withdrawing. Talking about withdrawing from. So what's basically happening is if the Qataris, the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, the Emiratis, whatever, cannot sell their oil and gas, what do they do for income? Well, guess what? They put trillions in the United States. And if you remember, right after Donald Trump became president the second time, and he sort of hightailed it to the Persian Gulf and secured himself up to, $2-3 trillion from from the Saudis and the Emiratis and the Qataris, who wanted to have the ear of the U.S. president as, the global situation was escalating. Now they're saying we're going to have to take it back. As we talked about earlier, in one of the earlier broadcasts, the Japanese are going to liquidate over $600 billion of U.S. ETFs because they need that money. They need that money to buy, maybe at a much higher price, oil and gas immediately, and other things, right? And other things. What's happening in the Persian Gulf? I mean, we don't read enough about the fact that these guys depend, almost entirely on desalination plants for their water, that they also, import most of their foodstuffs.
90 to 95%.
Yeah, 90 to 95% of foodstuffs. And that's crazy. Like, this is a siege, and it's a siege of the US is making. And how long will their Gulf allies put up with this? They are going to want to individually strike one by one deals with the Iranians to get certain things into their country that are necessities, right? Not to say that Iran will allow their oil and gas tankers and stuff to move, right? LNG and crude oil tankers, no. But to let foodstuffs in so that their populations can eat will be something that Iran will strike probably behind the scenes. And what will the Gulf states give up for that? Will be very interesting to see. I mean, this has only just started.
Yeah.
Just to update, also Kuwait has also started to shut down oil production. I think Saudi also did it, right? So this is a snowball effect with no easy solution, despite what Donald Trump is claiming. And now we're also hearing, and because I don't want us to get too far away from this topic of like the Russians benefiting from this, that Russia, this is CNN, Russia is aiding Iran's war effort by providing intel on U.S. military targets. And now there's also some reports that are saying that China might be shipping replacement parts for Iran, as well as I think what do you call it, like food and stuff, like necessary things, like a day-to-day basics that they might need to import. So all of a sudden you're starting to see the shape of what it would be a multipolar world would look like, no?
But it's funny, on Danny's show, let me just say this real quick, Kenny, and I'll shut up, I promise. On Danny's show, he showed a clip of CNN, a reporter inside Iran with a cup of coffee, and he's like looking around going, everything's on supermarket shelves, nothing's missing, food, anything you want to buy is there. There are no lines at gas stations, things are normal here. Nobody's freaking out. There doesn't seem any sense of panic in Tehran. So really remarkable, while everyone else is losing their cool, the Iranians inside Iran are just trudging along as usual.
Yeah. So China is apparently providing Iran with financial assistance, spare parts, and components for missiles. This is per CNN. Karim, we will let you talk.
Yeah. First of all, I want to share something, which is the thing that I promised to share, which is the path that the Israeli army published 3 days ago. So according to the Israeli army, this is the path that they used to bomb Lebanon and Iran. So they are coming from the north, across all Syria, of course, Iraq. You see, Baghdad is in the middle of Iraq, and they are bombing Iran and coming back. And I guess the same is for the Americans, because the Americans are using, according to reports, Jordan is the main hub, and of course from the sea. So that's one. Regarding the CNN report, first, I think the report is from CNN. This tells a lot of things. This might be to prepare the mentality of the Americans that we have all these damages, because now they are hiding it. They can't hide it for a long time. I think they want to say, look, China and Russia is helping them, Iran is not alone, and blah, blah, blah. But I don't like this, because for me, I think Iran is alone, and this undermines the capabilities of the Iranians and the suffering of the Iranians and the scientists of the Iranians that worked hard all these years to prepare for this war. 100%. And now there's no indication that Russia or China is aiding them. Maybe they are aiding them, but I don't think in a very particular way that will change the path of the war. First, we are still in the 7 day. Yes, This is the first week of the war, and usually such countries, for instance, Russia has been in the war since 2 years. You know what I mean? And we saw North Koreans after 2 years. 3 years. When we saw the Koreans after 2 years, we saw the Shah drone after 1 year. So these countries will not enter conflict that fast. That's my opinion. They will support Iran politically, as China did today. Today, official statement came out of China saying that the war in Iran is illegal and the Iranians should defend themselves, which is very good. So that's my opinion regarding this. And we have 2 separate chats with questions. The first one is from Badadub.
Yabadabadu, as we call him.
Yeah. is the
Lovingly.
end of the U.S. hegemony? Please answer.
I
This
think
answer is very complicated, and I don't think we have a real answer. But of course, if all empires fall down, and I think the election of Trump plus the Iranian war is the biggest catalyst ever in history, maybe for a empire to fall down, because the economy and the public in the United States, they were not doing well. There's hatred inside the United States. The fabric of the society was not good even before the war, and now we saw what happened during Trump. You saw that the Americans now really hate each other. Usually, the politics in the United States is not important. Usually, the politics it's only like they go to elections and they accept everything. But now, no. Most of the famous people now in the United States are politicians and are commentators and are journalists, political journalists. This never happened before, at least in my view in the United States for the few years that I have been alive. So I think this is a major shift. And also what's happening in Iran, you have a president that promised not to do wars. And I think this is the biggest war that the United States is doing since Vietnam, since 50 years. And also he promised for the economy, which is not good. And now there's a big difference in the mentality of the Americans. Usually the Americans, wherever they go, each country they go to or they see on TV, they think or they know or they believe that their country is better. But now you're seeing Americans going to small countries or on TikTok or wherever, and they now acknowledge that their country is turning to trash. And this war, of course, will be a catalyst. Of course, I will let Sharmeen answer this, but also there's another question. I think Sharmeen should answer it. It's a very
let me answer
question.
the hegemony one, actually, Karim, very quickly,
okay.
because my thoughts are very short, in all honesty. I think U.S. hegemony is done in the Eastern Hemisphere. I think it's going to become a lot more raw in the Western Hemisphere after this war. I think, for the American continent, we're in for some very difficult times moving forward because of the proximity, of course, that we have to this horrible nation. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Sharmeen?
What do you want me to talk about? The hegemony?
If you want, and we have a question if you can interview Ben Norton.
I'm a huge fan of Ben. He's great.
I know, Ben, it's something that's a possibility. It's a lot of this is about scheduling and what we think is really important to focus on that day. So, now that we started Rock the Cradle, our interview show, we'll
Bring them on.
We want your suggestions, but we can't always deliver on them.
100%.
Tomorrow, I want to say we're going to be interviewing Pravin Sauni. And I'm so bloody excited about this one. He is an Indian military analyst who says it like it is. He also runs Force magazine. He's a very impressive analyst of developments. He doesn't necessarily come in and weigh in on India's side on, even the Pakistani Indian, what are they called? The air fights, they're called something. What are air fights called?
Dog fights.
Dog fights, right? Dog fights. He's always got an interesting take. And I do think we need, a lot of people are projecting their own hopes as well. I mean, it doesn't exclude us. Sometimes we get caught up in that. But it's really good to talk to a military expert and an economist. I agree with you all from time to time, to get down into the nuts and bolts. Are these things possible? Are they possible? Who's actually winning? What is the military asset situation on both sides? So please tune into the interview with Pravin tomorrow. On the hegemony thing, I think one of the ways the US has maintained hegemony, even when it broke with gold, right? And created this crazy fiat petrodollar, currency thing, and just went mad with spending and borrowing and whatnot, is perception. I think propaganda was the leading tool for the United States to impose its hegemony, right? To impose, and what it did in propagandizing the world is to make people think certain things just could no longer be, or certain things that have happened in the past. Okay, for instance, taking down your government, like in the United States, for instance, right? A revolution like the French Revolution, but those things weren't possible in Western civilized countries, right? And it didn't matter how many people died in the barbaric, uncivilized world. There's a sort of like notions that were put in our heads. We were groomed and tamed to accept certain things as real and absolute and other things as impossible. In this region, in a few short years, it became impossible to even fathom killing an American soldier in uniform. Nobody dared do that, even though in the Iraq War, by the way, there were so many videos of Iraqis sniping and killing U.S. soldiers that have slowly and quietly vanished from the internet, vanished from YouTube. This is part of the grooming. So within a few short years, I mean, we're talking 2003, right? Mm-hmm. And then 20 years on, nobody could imagine killing an American soldier. And so I want to say that what Iran is doing every day, challenging that realm of possibilities that the Americans have imposed and installed in our brains, itself is miraculous. And I want to point to something, Karim, who, our big argument on the show is like the Gulf countries always do what America says. And before that, the British, right? I want to point out that there was a time where you had, is it King Faisal, right, in Saudi Arabia? There was a time where the Arab leadership had a sense of Arab nationalism, okay, and cared about Palestine. It happened, and now they think it can't. No, it can. They just have to suddenly realize it again. Hold on, Karim, let me go.
What happened to him? That's it.
No, they killed him. Of course. Okay. No, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying we're not talking about a realm of possibilities of things that never existed before. Those things were born of this region. Why do we call ourselves the cradle? Because we are the cradle of civilization. This region is where man and woman first decided, okay, we can grow food here. The climate's pretty good. The neighbors are nice. This is where we will settle for the first time. Before that, humans were nomadic. You know what I mean? This is why it's called the cradle of civilization. Don't forget, Karim, too, that what Iran is doing in stopping oil from reaching, all parts of the planet is not something that only the Iranians have done. Don't forget, the first oil embargo of 1973 was done by the Arabs. They've just forgotten and been groomed and tamed to think that they can't.
And OPEC too was created by Venezuela and the Arabs for this purpose.
I'm seeing insane footage, by the way. I'm just like, I want to mention this, of an attack on Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. I'm not completely certain if it's been confirmed to be a current image, but it's a direct hit, to say the least.
Yeah, it was going to come maybe in response to what the lie the Saudis, perpetrated today. But just to end the hegemony question, it's I just want to say that U.S. hegemonies existed because of an idea that nobody is, and that idea has become so pervasive nobody's been able to think otherwise. The moment you see cracks in an idea that firm and pervasive, the whole thing can come apart, and it will, in my view.
Yes, it's a house of cards, literally. Especially the Gulf and the myth of the U.S. air defenses, which is just getting a very harsh reality check as we speak. Actually, there's a couple of other things too. First of all, the goalpost.
Do you have visual of this Sultan Air Base?
The video I put it in our work chat, but I'm not certain that it's that is actually true. So I would actually like to wait for our team to verify it first, because right now anything could be made by AI or just be used all footage. What I wanted to say is that this ever-moving goalpost of the White House has yet again moved. Now Donald Trump is saying he wants unconditional surrender, ! All caps, from Iran. This just a few hours after when pretty shamefully, by the way, Lionel Messi was visiting the White House. I mean, truly shameful moment.
I saw it.
In his speech, he was saying, Trump, of course, was saying, I am calling on the IRGC and the Iranian forces, etc., to lay down their arms, and we will have clemency for them. And, they will not face certain death as they are now. Now, I want to say like 16 hours after that speech, he's saying he wants unconditional surrender. And he's also told CNN he is not really worried whether Iran becomes a democratic state. All he wants is a leadership that will treat the U.S. and Israel well. These are the U.S. president's words. I wonder where the goalpost is going to move tomorrow.
But that's the thing the Americans have thought for so long, because they've actually created the system where they say something and people just believe that's how it's going to go, right? And so they're now saying things that to a more awake global public, including the American public, sounds so crazy, because people have seen through the cracks, whether it was through COVID, through the Epstein files, through a myriad things, through a myriad lies.
The tariffs.
And so that's how hegemony falls apart.
Yeah, true. Exactly. I think we're witnessing it right now.
Yeah.
There's no putting the genie back in the bottle in this case. I think what you're putting on screen right now, Karim, it's right now, right? Like alerts again.
Yes, and also if you can read this piece of news.
Which one is it?
Ukrainian
troops are expected to deploy to the Gulf soon to help defend against Iranian drone attacks, a senior Ukrainian official told.
You get your Ukrainians, we'll get the North Koreans, okay? And they have nukes.
Don't forget, yesterday Trump said it. He was asked exactly about Ukraine. He said, "I will be happy if from any country who that support us or help us."
I mean, they can't even win their own war. He was asking Zelensky for drones. I mean, while the other
also,
side of the house was saying we have so much ammo, we have more ammo than anyone's ever had.
Infinite supply, he said.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So this is the footage that Esteban is talking about. We're still verifying it. This is a ballistic missile that is set to hit the Prince Sultan Air Base near Riyadh. We're gonna watch it now. You see the
Cradle
missile.
posted it?
No, still, but I'm showing them. It's a genuine video, but we don't know the location.
Okay.
Yeah,
in the meantime, make sure
also,
to hit that like button, everyone, please. Sorry.
Yeah, but yes.
AI has made things so confusing.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. So, Karim,
I just want to comment over the drones. To be honest, yes, Ukraine and Russia are now the best countries using and operating and downing drones. So it might be legitimate.
I read recently that the Ukrainians are maintaining control of certain border areas with a lot of automated, not just the UAVs, but also like land drones. I don't know what to call it, to be honest.
Don't forget the war has been like ongoing since 4 or 5 years now.
4 years, yeah.
4 years, and the main weapon in this war is the drones, and all Western intelligence, they put an effort in Ukraine to produce and to combat Russian drones, and the same applies to Russia. We know Russians in weapons, they are very smart, and usually they create different weapons that other armies didn't think of. So they are very good in drones. Okay. But of course, we saw what happened. Sorry for laughing, but we saw that the Israeli, at least the Americans, what they said that Kuwait downed 3 U.S. fighter jets, and just today they said that Qatar also downed UAVs over Qatar, which are Americans. So good luck with the Gulf allies.
Do you have the footage, Karim, by the way, since you offered to put it up?
Which I did.
You did? I didn't see it. I don't know if it came up on screen. I don't know if the people in the chat. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. RT put it.
Yeah, this is the one. RT. This is the one. Yeah.
Whoa.
What was the phrase? FAFO? What was that?
Unidentified aerial vehicle. That's
yeah, sure.
Karim, can you explain what Prince Sultan Air Base is in Saudi Arabia and its
Yeah,
significance?
Air Sultan Air Base is very important in the current war because it was used alongside with different bases in the region that I will put now on the screen, and it was used for the build-up, meaning that American tankers, according to Western media and American media, they used this base to. يعني as logistic hub to fly in weapons and to park there, and the other one is in Jordan and of course in Kuwait and UAE. So 1 minute, I will put them on the screen now. Final image. Okay.
There's also some crazy footage of an Israeli attack on UNIFIL forces.
Also.
Yeah. Okay, this
So,
is fantastic.
On
this is-
UNIFIL forces, they've actually bombed UNIFIL forces deliberately.
Yes, but let's get through this part first, and then we
Okay.
can get into that.
So this is the map of like the war map. Of course, by time, inshallah, if I have more time, I will add where the major hits happened in the region. Here is the base, which they say near Riyadh. It's not that near Riyadh, but because Saudi Arabia is huge, that's what appears on the map. So
Can you
this
show
base
us where Riyadh is compared to there?
Yes, yes, I will later because I have to find the new update of the map.
Okay.
So, but that's what we are talking about, and also Al Udeid base, and also here we have the Fifth Fleet. These are the most areas that got hit. The Fifth Fleet.
So Al Udeid base in Qatar is
Yes.
the headquarters of all of U.S. CENTCOM. Okay, so that's why that's significant. Bahrain hosts the U.S. Fifth Fleet, correct? The
Yes.
biggest U.S. naval base
Yeah.
in the region. And then here in Saudi Arabia, the Prince Sultan Air Base is, I mean, it is a Saudi air base that's shared with the Americans. How does that work? Can you explain to us?
Yes, there's multiple. I found a new map, by the way. Okay, so there's multiple bases in the region, as you can see. Now you will see it better than before. So there's bases that are joined by one or two or more countries, and there's bases that are fully controlled by the United States. So if you look here at the map, again, it's on. Yes,
No.
it's on.
Now it's on. Yes.
It will be. So okay, now they are with the names. The blue ones are the main bases used against Iran in the air campaign and were used before the air campaign, meaning for the build-up where the weapons, logistics, and the airplanes were stationed before the attack. So this is the Prince Sultan Air Base. Riyadh will be here, okay? And this is in Qatar. This is the Udeid Air Base. It's around 300 kilometers away from Iran, from the Iranian shores. And here is the naval support activity base in Bahrain. This base is the base responsible of the United States operation in this whole area. In this whole area, Indian Ocean, Persian Gulf, Arabian Sea, Gulf of Aden, Red Sea. The responsibility of this base is to maintain the security for the American ships and the hegemony, or as they say it, for their interest in the region. This is the base. This base is really, I think 2-3 ministers and it will be completely destroyed. And the footage that we saw was recorded here in this base. And in addition of these bases, for instance, you have a base here, Muwaffaq. Wow, sorry, there's a big bombing that happened now in Beirut. So this base is also used for the air campaign, and also here the third battery was hit, and it's confirmed from satellite imagery. And also here we have a third that was hit and confirmed with satellite imagery. And here we have the, wow, I think this is the loudest bombing till now in Beirut. Sorry. This is Al Udeid base. Here where the biggest radar that covers 5,000 kilometers was hit, and Al Udeid, and naval support. They had a radar that covers 3,000 kilometers. And if you look on the map, you see this is 1,000, this is 1,500, this is 2,000, and this is 3,000. So the bases or the batteries that were hit covers even more than the area that the map can show. And this is not a loss not only for the Americans against Iran, it's lost against even Russia, because Russia extends here, and India and China that are that should be on the right side of the map. And last but not least, here we have a base that is used by the United States. It's fully controlled by the Israelis, but here where they put their precious F-22s and F-35s that are bombing also the Iranians.
I love all the love that the commenters are showing to Karim right now. Please keep it coming.
Yeah,
Please
just,
make sure.
Just to let new viewers know, if you become a Cradle Patreon for as little as $5 a month, we actually do send you an exclusive Cradle map that we make just for our Patreons every single month. And Karim leads our map making from the beginning, the inception of the Cradle. I'm obsessed with maps. I always thought we need maps, an image, a picture is worth 1,000 words. We need those images to show the various conflicts, the various border conflicts, etc., in this region, because we cover West Asian geopolitics. And we have truly such an amazing library of maps. But our patrons get a new one, very high definition, every single week into their inbox if you do become a patron. Just to let you know about that.
So please make sure to do that. Let me read you some comments from the White House spokeswoman, Caroline Levy, just a couple of minutes ago. Remember how a couple of days ago they said that they fully control Iranian airspace? Well, today she says the U.S. is well on track to control Iranian airspace. And she said that Washington expects to reach its achievable goals within 4 to 6 weeks.
Do we know what the achievable goals are versus the unachievable goals versus
unconditional surrender?
In my wildest dreams goals? I don't know. I don't know what that anymore.
And there's contradictions between the two, because yesterday the Israelis, they said that they maintained full superiority over the airspace, and now the Americans are saying that. And also yesterday Trump said that they destroyed 60% of the drones launchers, and
they're just throwing numbers
from for the missiles, and the numbers from the Israelis are different. So that's weird, because usually
they don't know. This is one case where I really can't imagine that they would know. It's just, the Iranians are too smart for that. They've spent too much time building out, hollowing out mountains and going into, underwater even, to build capabilities to hide from exactly, the satellites that have existed for decades now, right? Why would you? Yeah. So, if the Americans were shooting paintings of fighter jets, right? I don't know. That kind of sums it up for me. Can we show that
a video? Which one?
Of the paintings of the 3D rendering.
I will. But there's a new video of the UNIFIL. It's confirmed. I will put it now on the screen also.
Yeah, they attacked the UNIFIL outpost.
Task Force.
UN Interim Force in Lebanon. Yes, so-called peacekeepers.
Yes, peacekeepers.
So apparently, until we see it on screen, this was outside the town of Al-Qawsa in southern Lebanon, where Ghanaian peacekeepers are stationed. Mm. These are UNIFIL, UN mandated.
Oh. Charlie. Oh my God.
Of course, the Israelis will say that Hezbollah was they were hiding here.
Israel has bombed UNIFIL outposts regularly since
but this one is a huge, to be honest.
Yeah.
All the videos that are you are seeing on the screen are from our Twitter feed, please go follow us. And the same applies to our Telegram. Usually Telegram, we put even stuff that are like somehow sensitive on Twitter. So follow us on both if you would like to receive all the new updates.
I am looking at some incredibly funny news. A senior administration official of the US said there is currently no specific timeline on launching the naval escort operation in the Strait of Hormuz. This as
Well,
oil prices have reached their highest level since October 2023.
well, duh. Right?
This-
The Cradle called it, guys,
been
2
calling
days
it-
ago.
We've been calling it for months, if not years, at this point. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
nice
yeah.
to be right, but it's unfortunate that at the cost that it's coming.
I agree. I think I just want to answer some questions too. Somebody's
Go ahead,
asking,
go ahead.
Anton Stampfy is asking whether when the U.S. CENTCOM commander had said that they've destroyed the Iranian missile capability, is this correct? This is actually, Anton, what Karim was talking about. The Americans are saying, well, it's not like we're even prioritizing missiles or missile production facilities anymore. We're going for gold. We're going for the launchers. The missiles are useless without launchers, right? And that they've taken out between 60 to 65% of both Iran's drone and missile launching capabilities. That's not possible for us to, I don't think it's possible for them to know, and it's impossible for us to verify that information. But in this case, given the complete day after day, the vacillation on information and targets and whatever that we're getting from the Americans, there's not a single thing I can believe personally.
Especially yesterday.
Go ahead.
Did you hear? I have difficulty to say his name. Pete, the Minister of War.
Peter
whatever his name.
Warbro Hexed, yes. Hexed.
Yeah. Yesterday he was asked on TV where he was giving a briefing. The reporter asked him, "Oh, Mr. Pete, why do you think?" I think she was Israeli from her accent. Why do you think people are saying that the war is expanding? And he was surprised. He told her, "Expanding? No, it's not expanding. This is sheer propaganda." Yani imagine after Hezbollah entering and the Iraqis, and now everybody is saying that maybe Yemen will be forced to enter, and Iran bombed 7 countries, 6 are considered your allies, and 1 you occupy alongside with Jordan and Israel, and he says what? No, it's not a regional thing. We are attacking only Iran. That was a blunt lie live on TV, which is insane.
To be expected from this, from not just this government, right? Like, let's not personalize this like they like to do with the Gaza genocide and Netanyahu. No, this has a very long history of this manipulation and how the media participates. I think this question about the launchers, I saw earlier today, I think it was an IRGC official who was saying all of the missiles we're launching, they were produced until 2014. These are still, or older stock. So if it's true that they have destroyed the launchers, then you're probably talking about launchers that have been, around for a while Iran maintains its missile cities well underground, which is now what they are trying to destroy. But even the CNN guy who went into Iran was saying like, oh, well, like, things are kind of normal in large swaths of the country still.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem very normal when I was talking or interviewing Mohammed Marandi yesterday while we were, while he was explaining some things. He heard a series of explosions outside his, where he was, broadcasting from, and what kind of, is I couldn't hear them, but I also couldn't hear what Karim was hearing. I don't know why mics pick up our breathing and everything that we don't want them to pick up, but not the sound of explosions. So, it's certainly not all hunky-dory the way the CNN reporter was describing the scene. The place he was in happens to have been like that, but there are absolute scenes of carnage across Tehran. But when people ask how long can the Iranians bear this, and this is the American mentality, like we're going to create so much pain for them that they're going to cry uncle. But they forget Iran took this night after night, day after day for 8 years. in the US-backed war, Iraq war on Iran.
Yeah, completely. No, completely. And what I meant to say was just like, of course, there's still like sections of the country in which they haven't been affected, and I highly doubt they have intelligence of where all of the missile silos and all of the missile warehouses are. And actually, no, what I wanted to say earlier was that, and I think Karim, maybe you can comment on this, is that in a year and a half of war against Yemen, they didn't really manage to the U.S. Air Force, the Israeli Air Force, the British Air Force, and of course the U.S. Navy. They didn't really manage to degrade Yemen's launch capabilities all that much. So why should we believe it that now this is the case in Iran?
Yeah, Yemen is a very big example. You can put an example in Lebanon. In Lebanon, there was, in military ways, not politically, it was a complete surrender of Hezbollah. And for 15 months, they took for 15 months, every single day, at least one airstrike or two. So you make the calculations, how many thousands of bombs and operation happened in Lebanon the last 15 months. And for instance, today we are still 9 p.m. in Lebanon. The Hezbollah has managed to bomb or to inflict damages to Israel 20 times. In the past war, the 2 months war, Hezbollah maximum reached like 21 operation a day. So they already matched the record, and we are still in the third day. So that tells a lot. I don't think a country like Iran with there's too many mountains in Iran. I will say it briefly because I will put a map so people will understand, because many people will not even comprehend what I mean by that. If you, Sharmeen, can comment on you, so I can prepare the map.
Yeah, so it's just, if you look at one of these topographical maps, that boys tend to like so much more than us, they really show. You have to look at the terrain. I mean, why was Afghanistan such a hard play for the Americans? Because there was a lot of mountainous terrain in which Taliban fighters and could get lost in or hide in, and Iran has that as well. It has several very big mountain ranges. One of them is right to the north of Tehran. I mean, you actually drive just 20 minutes from the northern part of Tehran to get there, to the base of these mountains. And then, of course, you have a big swathe of desert. It's not an easy country to enter, to penetrate. Certainly not land foreign troops in. Certainly not with the technological advances and surveillance equipment that this Iranian government has. So
I think the Taliban parallel is actually so on point, Sharmeen. It's something we can easily forget, just how difficult it was for the U.S. to
The Soviets couldn't do it, right? The Americans couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Nobody controlled Afghanistan because of that. And sorry, Iran's been around 2,500 years with plenty of empires come and go, and also try to absorb Iran, and it's still there because it's not easy. And Trump wants to land U.S. troops. It's kind of crazy.
Did we comment on, by the way, on Arakchi's interview yesterday on CNN, in which the boss move of saying like we are waiting for them.
Yeah, that was the best ever, and Danny Haifong put it on his show, and I can't stop watching the hosts.
His face tells a story.
He doesn't even understand that nobody's scared. This person is not scared of U.S. troops.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is the sheer propaganda. So what are we looking at? This is the terrain of Iran. It's literally all mountains. All mountains. The whole country is mountains. From the north to the south, everywhere you see mountains, mountain ranges, and here, of course, this is the difference here when you see the flat Gulf. So that's why, for instance, country like Qatar, the highest peak in Qatar, I will make sure, but I know it. It's 300 meters.
Oh,
the highest peak in Qatar.
Bravo, Karim.
So in Iran, there is many peaks, and also in Iran, there is many places that are not explored. It's one of the few countries that still is, some places in it is not explored because of the hostile terrain of the country. So That's the mountain that Sharmin, that's the country, this is the mountain that you all see when Israel and Iran is bombing Tehran. You see a mountain in the background. This is the mountain. And then there's the sea, and here is the Tehran. Now it will appear. So yeah, it's very difficult. If they want to enter, from where they want to enter, let me put the names of the countries.
Ryuku Shinigami says problem with a mountainous country is that if military tactics are applied properly, Iran can become a cage for the Iranian people. But true, but also, I mean, you're talking about Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio and Donald Trump.
But that's like the old way of thinking in many ways, that, when he who controlled the peaks could control the valley, right? Which is kind of obvious, but it's not that simple. Like, the peaks are really far away from the valleys, right? And then we have things that fly above. It's not like how it used to be, to take out people sitting at the peaks. I mean, don't forget, one of the great accomplishments of the Lebanese resistance was to take down Israeli military outposts that were on peaks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Hezbollah fighters climbed up and took them out. It's just not the same, reality necessarily anymore. And of course, the Iranians know this terrain better than any foreign invading troops could.
What are we looking at, Karim?
Yeah, let's get off this map, because there's a lot of other
at last,
questions.
I just want to show our viewers what do we mean that this is a very key radar that was put down. So this radar, this is the radius of 5 kilometers. It covers half of Africa, half of China.
5 kilometers,
India.
or you mean 500?
No, 5,000. Sorry.
5,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the range of the radar that was hit and damaged in Qatar. So it's not only like, as I said, that's what I said. The hits are not only weakening the United States in our region. It is also weakening the United States in other regions too, because this radar covers the south of Russia and also the west of China. Now I will close it.
It's I saw someone reporting, citing Hebrew media, saying that the most recent alarms that went off, the air raid alarms, went. Wait, let me see if I can find it very quickly. That there's like a huge difference in the time between
Yes.
how long they've been taking and how long now they are taking in between. The interception, not the interception, the detection.
Yes, I have it. So the
Go
point
ahead.
is that let me pull it out. I saved it. So they said that the time difference is huge. So what they are saying is that this is media talks in Israel. It's not official and it's not military. So you have people and journalists inside Israel that are saying that usually we had between 10 minutes to 15 minutes prior to the bombings or prior to the missiles hitting Israel. Now they have 2 to 3 minutes. So the Israelis used to know prior of the Iranian attacks by 15 or 10 minutes because of course the
radars.
The radars that are in our region in Arab states, unfortunately, and now because they are hit, the time is shrinking. But we are still waiting for confirmation because unfortunately, today, Iran didn't hit Israel that much. Only I think a couple of projectiles were
we always, sorry, Karim, to cut you off, but I feel like in the past 3 or 4 days, we say that in the show. And then like a couple of hours later, as I'm sitting to watch, I see like the missiles.
That's
They're
why I
watching
say
the
it. I will say
cradle.
it
They're
off,
like, we need to up
I will
the
say it
quota
before
for
we close
today.
also show to remind them.
To remind them. I sent a couple of pictures to our chat, Karim. Maybe you can check them out and see if they're worth putting on screen.
In the meantime, Esteban, people are getting nervous because you haven't said hit the like button in a while, and someone's going, Samba X Rock is saying, hit the like button like a Shahab 3.
Hit that like button, please, because let me see. We have 1,000 people watching, and we have 620 likes. No, that is not good, guys. That is simply not good.
Yeah.
For the effort we're making, please, come on. You can do better than that. What were you saying, Karim?
I will put the first picture. I think it's correct. The second picture is not correct, Esteban.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's some images, right, of a satellite.
Yes.
Well, actually, put it up. You can explain.
Difficult And because of the age of AI, and usually your trained eye can see some stuff, but now it's really difficult. You have to see. So this is before the attacks and after the attacks, and we see that these cons are the.
This
I
is
don't know how
Kuwait,
to say
right?
it. Yeah, I think Bahrain or no, Kuwait. I don't know how to say it in English. It's the dome that like sensitive dome for radars and this stuff.
Radom, did they call it? I think
Yes,
something like
100%.
that. Yeah.
So you see that the attacks are accurate. They are destroyed. As we see, these are all for me. Yani, there's no confirmation, but I don't need confirmation. Every single facility of these collected information and was sent automatically to Israel to defend Israel and to warn Israel against Iranian missiles. What a shame. The history, wow, what will happen in this region. Hopefully the right people will win and write the history.
Is this-
and the generation coming on will not understand why such traitors lived in these areas, because it's illogical.
Is this a sign of things to come, Karim? I mean, like, are the Iranians actually just right now, the past week, focusing on that, on like blinding the U.S. and Israel? Could this also be why we haven't seen much action from Yemen, or actually any action?
Yeah, yani, that's what what I think is happening, because the Iranians said they are prepared, and they should be prepared, because it's not the first time. Maybe before the fall of Assad, the vanishing of Assad, I think, yeah, if I was an Iranian, I will not take the threats seriously. But after the fall of Assad, we saw what happened. They bombed Iran, and there's no radars of any Arab state. Yani, there's no radar inside any Arab state that is controlled by the state. The only radars were in Syria. And maybe people that don't know the brief history of Syria will not understand what I'm saying. For instance, Syria in the 80s, they downed Israeli jets, they downed American jets, and the United States and Israel couldn't do anything to stop the Syrians from downing their jets, and they never controlled air superiority even over Lebanon in the 80s and the 90s, because of the Syrian air defense system and the Syrian radar system that was built by the Syrians and the Russians. This is the big difference what happened in the region. Now the Americans come, they put a system in your land and they control it. You pay them money. Okay, you don't pay
And
them.
they can deactivate it too.
And they can deactivate. The Syrians were very strong in this, and this wouldn't have happened. So now, of course, I think after that, the military of the government of Iran, of course, they acknowledge this. And as I said, if they couldn't stop Hezbollah for 15 months, and Hezbollah was the Americans say a sitting duck, they didn't do anything, and now they are firing even missiles that reached Haifa. So I think the Iranians, with their terrain, they still have many missiles, and only time will tell us. Still, again, this is a long war. We're still in week one, and of course, surprises from both sides, I guess, are still to come.
I want to, if before we close out today, I definitely want to bring up Syria in a different context. Syrian troops amassed along the Lebanese border, and then amassed along their border with Iraq. I don't know, Karim, if you could just look up a basic Levant map and show our viewers while I'm discussing this. So we heard before the recent escalation, right, between Israel and, was it before the Israelis and Hezbollah escalated?
It was before. From I think what you are trying to say, that there were Syrian troops on the borders.
Yeah.
In Lebanon, yeah. Every now and then this happened, and also there were clashes or sniping between the Lebanese army and the Syrians on the borders at least once every two months.
Yeah, but the amassing right now is particularly worrying, because there is the possibility, maybe even the likelihood, that Ahmad al-Shara, the self-appointed president of Syria, former head of Al-Qaeda and deputy head of ISIS, who backed now by the Americans, right, could basically try to distract Hezbollah, the Lebanese resistance, from Lebanon's eastern border, while Hezbollah troops are concentrated in the south fighting Israel. And this is, when people have, when you have these Syrians who don't like the Assad government, which is totally their right? Who champion al-Shara and his coterie, it's appalling because this man, they said, wait. He is anti-Israel, genuinely. Wait. He will liberate Palestine. I mean, this guy is a paid for, bearded mercenary of the United States and Israel. And, people like myself who have reported from the Syrian ground during the duration of that conflict, were telling you this, ages ago. I found instances where the Israelis were paying the al-Nusra fighters, which is basically al-Shara's people, the Nusra fighters, they were paying them their monthly salaries from Israel, provably, right? And so this guy is potentially going to come in and try to disrupt operations benefiting Iran inside Lebanon and inside Iraq, because as perhaps our new viewers are not aware, because not a lot of people are reporting this. So what did I say?
Iran.
Oh, okay. I don't know. So is that the Iraqi resistance has come back with a vengeance. We haven't seen them operating this way during most of the Gaza genocide, right?
Just the beginning, like I think the first 6-8 months, and then
they sent a few drones and projectiles, but that was it. But they are hitting U.S. military bases, and they have good reason to do that, right? They have their own 20 plus years of experience with the U.S. military, and I think they're just running wild in a very organized fashion, of course. So here, the Americans and Israelis may very well start to play Syria because Syria is in the middle of these countries, Lebanon and Iraq, will start to set off the terrorists, the terror networks that they put together to bring down Syria, to sick these on Lebanon and Iraq. But I don't know. I don't know how successful
they're like starting to use all of their cards. What do you have in mind, Karim?
No, regarding this, everything might happen, and I just want to comment they are doing this not because they love Iran more than Palestine. Palestine is the main topic of every single person that is with the resistance. The point is that, and I would say it, and I said it before, the strategic patience, I think, was a very big strategic mistake, and now they acknowledge that if you attack them, or if you don't attack them, or if you create balance, Israel and the United States will not care. They will bomb you and kill the civilians, and they will kill and will kill. So there is no reason to restrain anymore. There's zero reason. For instance, just to give you an example, in Iran, they bombed 2 stadiums. No reason. Why would you bomb a stadium? Today, they bombed a hospital. And also, previously, they bombed the school in the same day. So
another school they bombed today. They've already bombed 4 schools.
Of course, I understand. In Lebanon, we small country, Gaza, as they lie. But let us say we accept their lies. But Iran is a very big country, and you can't differentiate between a school and. Mama, it's a huge country. People will not.
They claim they've
the
taken
facilities.
over.
It's not crowded. Iran or Tehran is not crowded as people think. There's facility. You see it. You see it. You drive to go to the hospital. It's not like next to a building.
So for the person who is asking, is it true that the U.S. has destroyed Iran's military capabilities? They couldn't tell the difference between a school and something else. They couldn't tell the difference between a playground and something else. They couldn't even figure out a painting of a fighter jet was not an actual fighter jet. Please, Karim, put that on, because this is the visual that finally convinced me. We posted in the group today. So how could they possibly...
Sorry, Sharmi, which group, so I can pull it up fast?
It's it's the image you said that I think is it might be AI generated, but there are videos. There's the videos
fake,
of the
but
helicopters.
The video is correct, but I'm having difficulties to find it.
Okay, never mind then. Y'all can Google it. Anyways, I just want to thank the new viewers who have come on here today, and obviously, our old viewers who've been with us for this ride for a long time, I want to remind the new viewers that the Cradle's live podcast comes on every single day now since the war, and we will continue that as long as we can. At 8 p.m. Beirut time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure when anything confuses you about the news of the day to check in with us at that time, where we can bring you the facts, separate facts from fiction, and of course give you our opinions. Esteban, you want to take us out? Oh, go ahead.
I found it in the best way. I found it from Al Arabiya, which is the Saudi. The Saudi one.
Let's watch it.
This is one of the videos. There's multiple, but I will put it fast. So that's many people are suggesting, and that's what it appears, a 3D painting or a plastic or a paper 3D model, because the Iranians are good at this. And now you'll see the video. And this was published by the Israeli army, by the way.
So as we watch the video, I want to thank, first of all, Piroy23, who has given a very generous super chat. Thank you so very much, truly, from all of us at the Cradle. Also, of course, thank you to Gulnara Marchis, who was always here with us, and to Rami El Sain as well. Truly, guys, thank you for your generosity. Thank you for making the Cradle thrive. You know, since we came on the scene, we have had a very steady growth, and we have consistently punched above our weight class on social media and now in these spaces. Really, thank you very much for your support. Let me, before I take us out, I want to read just a couple of quotes from Iran's deputy foreign minister, who was speaking with France 24. He said that Iran has already informed the Europeans and everybody else that they should be careful not to get involved in this war of aggression, because they would become legitimate targets. And he also vehemently denied any responsibility for the drone attack on Azerbaijan in the autonomous Nakhchivan enclave yesterday. He's saying the missile did not come from Iran. So with that, we can wrap it up for today. Thank you to everyone who joined. Do you have anything to say, Karim?
Yeah, I hope we talked about it, but of course the time and the war is covering like 12, 13 countries. So, but I also want to say that yesterday and today the Israelis bombed Dahi non-stop, which is the southern suburb of Beirut. And yes, they issued a warning, but there's horrible, like, the destruction is huge. I think yesterday till now they bombed like 20 or 30 buildings. It's completely destroyed, and the air campaign is ongoing.
It's hundreds of thousands of people who have been displaced, and I just want to make something clear. I laughed when Karim was saying that at some of the comments that you guys are kind of funny. I was not, of course, laughing at the situation in Lebanon, which we will continue to discuss, of course, as we move through this war and the ever-shifting goalposts that Donald Trump keeps placing. Thank you to everyone who joined. Also, thank you to everyone who joined on Twitter, where we are also going live. Of course, special thanks to our Patreons. And once again, if you can, if it's feasible for you, for as little as $5 a month, you can become a direct supporter of the Cradle. Help us stay afloat. Help us continue to bring you all of these very relevant coverage.
And meet our donation campaign goal of 5,000 patrons by the end of this year. Boy, oh boy, would we love it if that could happen by the end of May.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sharmeen. Thank you, Karim. And we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you. Bye-bye.
West Asia is always on the map, but rarely in its own voice. This region has been narrated by others for far too long. That's why the Cradle exists, to report from the region, not to speak over it.
Together, the United States
to tell stories with depth, precision, and no editorial leash. Because West Asia is more than just a theater of war. It's the corridor between continents, the energy artery of the world, the cradle of civilization. We don't take government orders. We don't serve corporate boards. We serve clarity, rarity, and rawness, no matter the risk. So if you believe this region deserves better than spin, support the people doing the legwork. Donate. Keep the Cradle independent.